Today is going to be such an exciting day for me. My dad and I are going to go down and pick up my brand new 4-post lift and install it in the shop. This is an absolute game changer for me. I've always wanted a 4-post lift. I've always wanted a lift. Everything I've done on my cars up until this point has been in either a tiny garage or outside in the driveway where I'm groveling around in the gravel on my back. So having a 4-post lift is gonna be an absolute game changer for me, and I'm so stoked. First thing we're gonna do, pick up the lift. We're gonna go grab it, bring it back, see if we can get it unloaded, and see if we can't get this thing installed in one night. Let's see how it goes.
We just muscled this great big monstrous piece of iron into the shop, and it's going to be a 4-post lift, which ought to be a game changer in here. Should be good, but it's not light. It's every piece of it's real heavy, so assembling it is going to be a little bit of a backbreaker. Easy for me to say, huh?
Yeah. What's this thing?
Not me. Extra parts.
Okay.
Extra real heavy parts.
Bridge jack.
Oh, bridge jack. Oh yeah, that's going to be a really good addition too. So you can slide that back and forth underneath the car when it's up on this thing and lift up things from there.
Get the wheels up.
Get the wheels up. Yeah, should be very versatile with that.
Yeah, well, we got a good job ahead of us, don't we?
Like a sales. Late, but we got her done. We put this really nice lift in here. It's a game changer, I'm pretty sure, for working on cars in this shop here. Instead of slithering in and out from under them like a reptile, you can raise them up and work them over them like a real person, which is really kind of a cool deal, actually. This is pretty good. Fairly straightforward. Pretty simple engineering in this thing. I'm looking forward to getting some work done on it myself, actually. But anyway, yeah.
What's the first job you want to do on this thing?
Let's see. Boy, I got a bunch of them backed up, actually. I have to think about that for a second. I got 3 or 4 cars, or at least, yeah, 3 or 4 cars I could put in here. Do several jobs on each one of them, actually. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
How'd the install go?
This has just been this is a dream I had when I was a kid, or not a kid, but working on cars. I've never had one, and I still don't have one, but.
Let's run it. Let's run it and see what's up.
Yeah, let's see how it works.
The lift that I decided to get is a direct lift, ProPark 8 standard. It's their standard 4-post lift made from direct lift. It's ALI certified. It's made by, I think Dover is the company, who's one of the main lift manufacturers. They also make Benpack and some of the other ones that we've all heard about. This was a pretty budget lift, but again, it's not something that I'm worried about the car falling down on myself. I actually saw these guys at SEMA, was impressed by the lift, and ended up buying it locally here. A couple of things I liked about this 4-post lift specifically, unlike the Benpack uses air locks, so you have to apply air pressure to unlock them. I wanted something that was more mechanical. Again, I had checked out a couple of different lifts, and I just felt better about a mechanical 4-post locking system. I'd also done quite a bit of research on the different types of lifts. And again, this is a standard C channel or lift where each one of the columns is in a C channel versus a solid tube, which a couple other lift manufacturers have. But these guys had pretty good reviews. They don't have a big online presence. I had heard good things about them, so I figured I would give this lift a try. From a size perspective, it made a ton of sense. You could get a bigger lift that goes higher. I was really limited in this shop because of ceiling height, 10 to 11 foot ceilings, because I have a tiny slope in the garage. So I was really limited from a height perspective. There was no way I was gonna be able to get a truck even if I had a lift that would accommodate that. And most of my cars are lowered to begin with, so I didn't really have any need to have any tall vehicles on top of the lift or even to park underneath the lift. People always ask why I went with a 4-post lift versus a 2-post lift. And for me, it was really simple to make the decision, really straightforward. The first is that the primary purpose of the lift, when I think about the reality of the situation, it's gonna be storage and parking. And a 4-post lift is a lot better for storage and parking than a 2-post lift is, for a lot of reasons. The first is that you can put drip trays under it. It's obviously more stable for long-term storage. It's really not good to have your suspension unsprung, so you wouldn't want to have a car on a lift, like say through the wintertime, on a 2-post lift and have all the weight just dangling and pulling the shocks down to the ground. I'm sure some people do it, but I know that that's less than ideal. A 4-post lift is a better solution for long-term storage. The second big thing for me was ceiling height. Again, if I had 16-foot ceilings and most of my work was actual mechanic work, I probably would have considered a 2-post lift more strongly than I did. But because I'm going to be using the lift for storage primarily, and second is I don't have the ceiling height for a 2-post lift, it made a ton of sense just to go to a 4-post lift. The second thing that I wanted to be sure of, because I still wanted to be able to use my lift to do mechanic work on my cars, is that made it important, and one of the big advantages of a 2-post lift that I somewhat nullified with this purchase is I purchased what's called a bridge jack. So this bridge jack slides between the ramps on a 4-post lift, and it's like a scissor type of a jack that allows the vehicle to be raised off of the wheels even while on the 4-post lift. So sure, you can only do one side at a time, but you're halfway at having a 2-post lift by doing that anyway. So I can do suspension work, I can rip the wheels off if I need to switch stuff around or get to the brakes, do any of those kinds of things. So it makes a 4-post lift a lot more versatile. And so that was one of the big reasons that I was able to take a 4-post lift and use it, even considering my low ceiling height. Now, I know all of the big shop guys, everybody that we watch on YouTube and Instagram and all of the social media, everybody's got really nice shops outfitted with a ton of tools and lifts galore. That wasn't ever me. I wasn't ever able to have a lift. I never had a lift growing up working on cars. Literally everything I did was in my driveway or in my single 1-car garage. And you can tell my giant 65 Impala doesn't exactly fit well in a tiny 50s built 1-car garage in the place that I was at. So not only to get a shop has been just an absolute game changer for me, but now to be able to have a lift, be able to have the storage for the cars. Now I don't have to park something in the backyard. Keeps the wife happier, and again, it keeps everything inside the weather. We get quite a bit of snow and some rain over here and some moisture, so it's nice to have the vehicles inside, and it's something that I don't have to worry about anymore, keeping stuff parked outside, just because I have that extra storage space now, which is great. One of the first things I'm probably going to do is use the lift for some of the body work that I'm going to start doing on the 66. You saw that in one of the last videos that I've got that car torn apart. I'm getting ready to do a ton of sanding, which is probably what I'm going to be busying myself with for the next couple of weeks here. But it'll be nice to, when I get to some of those lower rocker areas and some of the low down areas, to not have to be on my hands and knees trying to sand. I could actually throw the car on the top of the lift, raise it up just that right level that I need, and be able to work on it. So needless to say, I'm super excited. I've got a ton of stuff planned and a ton of new projects that I'm going to be putting on it. Also, the Fleetline project that I'm going to do after I finish the truck, after I finish the Impala, I'm going to put a new rear end, a 4-link on that, and I know that I'm going to be needing a lift because I'm likely going to want to rip the body off of that while I do all of the chassis work independent, have those 2 separate parts. So I'm going to get a ton of use out of this lift. If you guys have any questions about the lift, why I did what I did, please leave them in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, please consider subscribing to our Classic Car YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.